Oh, hold on. Hold on. There it is. What's going on, everybody? How we doing today? As usual, hope we're doing all right. It is a Friday night, so we're doing excuse me, our usual Friday night chill stream. Is what we are doing. This is the second stream of the day. I streamed briefly for about an hour in Boston earlier today. I had a really fun time with that. You know, maybe I'll go into Boston at some point, and I'll stream again. Excuse me. The thing is, I was hanging around the South End. Um, more like I was hanging around Back Bay is where I was hanging around, right? And because of that, I'm not really familiar with like the South End or Back Bay or anything like that. You know, when people think of Boston, they think of Southie. They're like, oh, dude, Southie, fucking Boston, Irish, dude, oh, blah, blah. I'm more of a North End kind of guy. Being honest with you, that's where all the good food is in the city, all right? And then in addition to that, the Common is just kind of like a nice area to hang out in. It's like it's sightly. Not that Back Bay is bad. Like we saw so much beautiful architecture in there, and there were some nice restaurants and stuff like that. But like it's a little more chill in say like it's a little more chill than in the Common, excuse me, than in say like Back Bay or something like that, you know. The Common, excuse me, is just a big park, and then the North End is like a 15-minute walk away and stuff like that, or you can hop on the subway and take the subway there to Haymarket and then go. But yeah, overall, like I had a fun time with that. Maybe I'll just make that into a thing I do every now and again. I just go into Boston and I have a blast, have a grand old time. That's what I do. But what's going on, Bonjour Ski? What's going on, Zachary Verad? What's going on, Quirt? What's going on, Smart Moron? I gotta say something, Zachary. I appreciate you, dude. Like, for real. I didn't know you were in all these other people's streams and stuff like that, modding for them. I appreciate you being here every single fucking time, dude. Thank you so much for that, man. For real. You know, I really do appreciate that. Especially like me. Like I'm my stock has been declining in terms of like my e-boy career as well as fish tank. You know, I wasn't even in the documentary, Brandon's documentary. Um, like nobody thought it would be a good idea to hit me up and be like, hey, Brandon Buckingham's doing a documentary, come down if you can make it. Nobody thought it'd be a good idea to fucking do that. And I think I might have hit somebody up too because it was raining out. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit pissed about this. Just a tiny bit pissed about this. Not gonna lie. I'm not like angry at anyone in particular or anything like that. It was just like, really, come on, guys. Fucking it was raining, right? And for the month of April and May, and then even a little bit in June, I feel like it was raining every weekend. But during the week, a lot of the time, it would be fine. So if it was raining in the clip that I saw, like I think it was, chances are that was a weekend. And every weekend for like a month and a half, I would hit somebody up. I won't say who it is, right? I'm not trying to like put anyone on blast, but I would hit somebody up and be like, "Hey, is there anything going on right now? Do I need to be down there for anything in particular?" I went down there a few times and they had too many people there. Like legit, like too many people working on builds to the point where they were like, fuck, what are we even going to do with this guy? So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll let them do their thing. I'll just be here for writing meetings when they need me. And then other than that, I'll just keep an eye on Discord and get the updates and stuff like that and just work on my writing ideas as well as Cage, kind of bringing Cage back around to the fold. So there's a good chance that I hit somebody up like, yo, what's going on today? What's like anything big going on? Should I be down there? And someone was like, nah. And then sure enough, Brandon shows up with his fucking camera. You know? That was like, man, you fucking kidding me? I haven't watched that documentary by Brandon. I probably will at some point. It's not high priority for me right now. I gotta catch up on so many things, dude. I haven't even been watching. I only watched the second episode of Extreme Peace last week. You know, I gotta catch up on Extreme Peace. I gotta catch up on a bunch of things. I just don't have the time or the energy. I was talking about that a little bit earlier on the first stream. Like I just don't have the time or the energy, you know. But the point that I was trying to make with that, right? Because like I said, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. My heart shattered, broken into a million pieces. No, but like jokes about my feelings on that aside, like the fact, Zach, the fact that you're here when like other people that I've modded are not here, not denigrating them in any way, shape, or form. I don't expect anyone to ever be here, you know? Like that means a lot to me, especially considering that it's not like I'm it's not like I'm as big as I used to be in the fish tank world, you know? You got Greg doing Greg Tank. Of course, people are gonna be watching that. You know, you got Elastanke now. You got people watching that. Trish, you know, Trish was doing some really good streams when she was when the fish tank thing. Somebody hit me up. I just want to make sure it's my handler. It's my handler is what it is, you know. Um, but yeah, anyway. What was I gonna fucking say? What was I gonna fucking say? Oh yeah, like the bottom line is everybody else in Fish Tank is like a lot bigger than I am, you know. I'm not trying to be Mr. Personality or anything like that, and through that plus a combination of a bunch of other things, people are not that interested in my streams. It's just a fact of the matter. That's not like a self-pity thing. But the fact that you're here, Zach, I do appreciate it. So thank you so much, man. You know, thank you so much for being here and always doing the Streamlabs thing and stuff like that, you know. I'm not making money, but if I was, I'd definitely be paying you. You'd probably be my only paid mod, if I'm being honest with you. Um, I don't know. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Maybe someday the world will wake up and realize I'm an untapped genius. Is what I am. I'm just a big genius. I'm a big brain, and they're gonna start watching me, and they're gonna start donating $1 million to me a day, and then I'll start paying you. Um, excuse me. Jeez. Anyway, yo Scott, hope you're feeling good. I'm feeling all right, James. Hope you're feeling well too, man. Hope you're feeling well too. I was gonna say something else after that though. Oh yeah, I'm pissed off at YouTube once again because I had a I I gotta sneeze. I gotta sneeze. Hold on, hold on. I'm looking at the light to. Oh, excuse me, but um, I ended that stream earlier, but for some reason the stream was still active on YouTube. This is a weird thing that YouTube does where you have a third-party streaming platform and then you have the YouTube stream itself. So you start it up on the third-party streaming platform and then YouTube also has to start it up. So in some platforms, you start it up on your platform, then you have to go to YouTube and you have to hit start stream. Other times it'll automatically start, but in this case, I was on Streamlabs on my phone. So for some reason, even though I selected that I wanted it to stop the stream on YouTube, it didn't stop. So for 7 hours, the stream was still up live on YouTube. It didn't show anything. It's not like there was a live feed from my phone to YouTube, and that makes it even more weird and more annoying. Where it's not even like it was in my pocket and you caught me getting upset at like my wife and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law earlier. I wasn't like screaming at them, but there was a point I just wanted to get my ass home and they wanted to stop to fuck around and I was just like I just want to get home, man. Like I'm not no, not right now. Like I just want to get home. I did one of those things. I felt a little bit bad afterwards, but also, you know, it is what it is. I'm hanging out with three women. All of them are in their 30s, but they still have that like teenage girl kind of way about themselves, including these 68-year-old woman. It's crazy. And you know, I was like, oh fuck, I just want to get home, dude. Just want to get fucking home. You know. Um, but yeah, it was just weird and annoying. So I apologize for that. I apologize for that. I thought the damn motherfucker Scott has been streaming for a while. Exactly. Exactly. You know? Like I hopped in on my desktop and I saw Eggy popped in and was like, Scott, you're still streaming, bro. And I don't know, I don't even know when he did that. I was just like, what the fuck, dude. But anyway, Rip Hulk Hogan says smart moron. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Rip Hulk Hogan. That is for sure. As well as Ozzy Osbourne, as well as Chuck Mangione, which is not well, you know what I mean when I say funny. I don't mean like haha funny. I mean like it's strange. But I was just watching the Chuck Mangione is like a running gag in the King of the Hill world, the King of the Hill show. And I watched the episode with the Megalomart that ended up exploding, where Chuck Mangione was going to play a trumpet solo and stuff like that. I watched that like earlier this week, so it's funny how he ended up passing this week. I ain't saying I did it. I ain't saying I did it. All right, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. Um, but yeah, rest in peace to those guys. I try to I think this is an important thing to do in general, but especially if you're a Christian. I think it's important whenever you figure out someone died to pray for them, you know? Even if it's not somebody who's as big as Hulk Hogan or even Chuck Mangione or anything like that. Like if I'm scrolling Facebook and I see three died in car crash, for one thing, I usually will say out loud to myself. It's almost an exercise that just becomes force of habit. I'm almost like, oh man, that's terrible, you know. And it doesn't matter who it is, right? And for the most part, it doesn't matter who it is, you know. When I see like would-be robber gets shot and killed, I'm like, oh, good, all's right with the world. But I'm not like, yeah, somebody died, yeah, it's yeah. No, but I'm not like happy that somebody died, you know. But I think it's important to exercise that part of your empathy, you know, that part of your conscience, excuse me, and things like that. And then in addition to that, later on when I'm in bed, I always pray every night. I say the same prayer every night, and then I try to make sure that I try to make sure that yeah, you know, I try to make sure that I think about people that I think need prayer, and I pray for them. You know, I think that's a very important thing to do. And even if you're not a Christian, even if you're not religious at all, I think it's important to kind of to exercise your empathy in that way, where you have a moment of thought where you're like, man, I hope everything goes right with that person. I just remembered I saw on the news today that somebody died. Man, that's awful. I hope their family is okay. I hope that it wasn't a painful death or something like that, you know? Oh my science. Oh my science. I wish that didn't happen. I hope it wasn't a painful death, you know? I think that's a very important thing. Atheists don't really have a reason to do that, and I'm not saying atheists can't be empathetic or exercise sympathy or anything like that. But I think it's probably a little bit easier when you have a higher power to pray to absolve the person or people of their sins and allow them to get into heaven, you know? Because that's the best thing that you could wish for somebody. Um, you know, and I just try to remember that like when I pray to God, I hope that he absolves me of my sins. I'm not gonna keep on the religion thing for too much longer. You don't gotta worry. You don't gotta worry. Okay, but um I try to make sure, excuse me, I try to make sure that when I try to make sure that I wish for others what I wish for myself. You know, that's all. I want God to absolve me of my sins, of which there are many. I am a sinful guy. And you know, I hope that he allows me into heaven. And I would never pray for anybody to not get into heaven. But you guys get what I'm feeling. You guys get what I'm saying. Excuse me. Um, how much money do you make? Says Brendan Dillinger. What do you mean specifically? You mean do you mean on YouTube, or do you mean like from my job, like monthly or weekly or yearly or whatever? Oh, excuse me. Um, excuse me. I don't know what the hell I believe in, but in really rough scenarios, I find myself praying regardless. Yes, they say there's no atheists in foxholes, that's for sure. And I think praying in a situation like that is better than no prayer at all. But I would urge you to also pray outside of situations like that, you know? Excuse me. Um, I would urge you to reconnect with Christ. Again, like I'm not trying to make this into a big religion stream or anything like that, you know? Unless you guys want it to be, you know, it's whatever. But um I would urge you to reconnect with Christ outside of situations where you're like, oh shit, I could stand to lose something, or oh, I really don't like this situation, or stuff like that, because that's where your life will really, really improve. That's where your life will be better in every facet, in every single way. Like I promise you, you know. Um, in addition to that, it's like if there's one thing I try not to do, it's ask God for stuff or ask God to like stop things or start things for me or anything like that, right? I'll do that with other people. Like I've said, you know, I'll pray that God helps people with this or that or gives people this or that or whatever. Um but I try to avoid being like, God, please do this for me or give me that or whatever, you know? If I ask God for anything, it's usually the wisdom and the strength to make the right choice when it's presented to me, and the refusal to give up on me, the continuous um, throwing forks in the road, and the continuous chances that you take on me and things like that. You meaning God, you know? That's what I try to pray for. Um, because I found when you pray for things, and I learned this very early on. I've found that when you pray for material things, it just doesn't work for you, you know. And there's reasons for this, you know. Like when I was in Sunday school, right? Maybe I was just young and immature, and I didn't understand what was being told to me. But basically, what I got from Sunday school when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, that's kind of when I was going to Sunday school. No, it was like 8, 9, 10, or something like that. I'm pretty sure. I forget exactly. But when I went to Sunday school when I was younger, I got I got the I got the feel, right? I got the feel that uh they were telling me that God is supposed to just give me shit all the time, you know? They like just the way they told us. Like, I specifically remember them saying, pray to God for whatever you want and he will grant it. And it's like, that's not how it works, clearly, because all I wanted when I was younger was Medal of Honor Rising Sun and Medal of Honor Frontline. Those are two video games I really, really wanted, you know. And my mother would not allow me to have them because they were rated T. Oh, T for teen, and I wasn't a teen yet. I wasn't a teenager yet. Oh man. And I would pray to God for Medal of Honor because, well, you know, God is more powerful than my mom. At least I think so. I would guess. You know, my mom doesn't have a book written about her. You know, if there was a book written about my mother, it'd probably be Big Dumb Idiot book, whatever. No, but I would pray to God for these things, and they like I wouldn't get them. You know, and that was kind of like the first seed that was planted in my head of like, oh, so maybe God isn't like as powerful as I thought because I didn't get what I wanted out of him. Like, that's such a weird that's such a weird fucking thing to think, you know. But overall, like you know, pray for other people. Don't just pray for yourself, you know. And you'll be doing good. You'll be doing a lot better that way. Like, I promise you, you know. Since I started, even before I started really, really getting back into Christianity, you know, I'm finally going back to church now, and there was like a year or two where I was like, okay, I think I'm a Christian still. I think I'm a Christian again, but not still, you know. I think I'm a Christian again, but you know, I got to kind of test the waters here. Um excuse me. Um Sorry, I'm like multitasking a little bit here because I forgot to do something. I forgot to do something real quick. Excuse me. When I first started getting back into Christianity, when I prayed for other people, um I noticed that my quality of life improved as well. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's something that is probably baked into what God wants us to do, you know, if that makes sense. Um Uh, hold on one second. Uh, because I saw Brandon was chirping. I want to talk about. I want to talk about what Brandon's saying. I want to address, or not Brandon, Brendan. Excuse me. I want to address what Brendan says. But Quirt, first things first, says Scott. Good news. Jet said bitch tank is in canon, which means your bathroom bit never happened. What bathroom bit? I don't even know what you're talking about. Of course, it never happened. I don't even know what you're talking about in the first place. Um, but that's why I have a full time job and a good family. Good for you, man. Seriously, good for you. Um, I'm confused about something. Hmm. Weird. Okay, well, whatever. I'm getting a holier than thou vibe. This is cringe as fuck. Maybe praying doesn't work. I don't know why you would get a holier than that. You see, and like, not to be rude or anything, Brendan, but like this is the fallacy that you fall into with people who are hostile to Christianity. They're never hostile to any other religions. They're only hostile to Christianity. They would think a Buddhist sitting there cross-legged, talking about enlightenment. They would think that's like extremely, like I can't think of the word right now, but they would think it's so mystical and so magical and so cool, and it would be, whoa, dude, wow, that's insightful. Yes, insightful is the word. They would think it's insightful and spiritual and lyrical, because Buddhists are spiritual, lyrical individuals and shit like that, and they wouldn't question it. They'd be like, oh, there's some kind of hidden truth to this. Um, but when it comes to discussing anything relating to Christianity and Christ, the second someone starts talking about it, anybody who is an anti-Christian, anyone who is anti-Christ, not the anti-Christ, but just anti Jesus Christ, they're gonna turn around and they're gonna be like, dude, you think what are you doing trying to preach and stuff like that? And it's like, people talk about shit, dude. What do you want? If I was talking about Funko Pops, would you be like making a soy face, or I guess it's Labubus now? One of the kids in my class, she's like 6 or 7 years old. She tells me to Google what a Labubu is, and I'd been trying my best to not know what it is because it sounds really fucking weird. And at first, when she said that to me, I was like, should I yell at her for? I don't yell at the kids, but you know what I mean when I say yell. Like, should I like scold her and be like, don't ever say that word again? Because to me, it's like, I don't know. Like, could that be like a naughty word or something like that? Could that be like a no word? I'm not sure. But I finally figured it out what a fucking labubu is. Um, but yeah, you're you're not allowed, right? You're not allowed to talk about Christianity. The second you talk about Christianity, all of a sudden there's gonna be some fucking guy or girl. Usually it's a girl who has some kind of issue with what you're talking about, and it doesn't matter what the context of it is. It doesn't matter how you're doing it or anything like that. The only way you can talk about Christianity in a way that's going to make a woman happy is to talk about how actually Jesus was a gay, lesbian, bisexual, they them, and he actually hung out with Mary Magdalene, who was a hooker. That's like feminized Christianity's favorite thing, is to try and be like, actually Jesus was just all about vibes and shit like that, and he actually hung out with Mary Magdalene and they were married. Ha ha ha. Women just love trying to inject themselves into everything, and they love making it like the worst kind of woman that could be, instead of being like, wow, Mary, the mother of God, the mother of Christ, the Virgin Mary, who carried Jesus to term, gave birth to him, and then raised him. And Jesus went out into the world, ministered, and then he was sacrificed on the cross for all of humanity's sins. They can't be like, wow, that's something I look up to. I aspire to be like Mary, even though I'll never be like Mary, because that's kind of the point of aspiring to be like her, is I'll never be like her. I'll never be like her, but I can try. I can try. You know, and instead of it being that, it ends up being actually Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was hanging with Jesus. If I was in the Bible, I'd totally be a Mary Magdalene, and they were definitely fucking. It's always got to be about sex with these fucking women, dude. It's fucking insane, you know. That nothing is sacred to them, and they wonder why they weren't allowed to preach in the church. They wonder why they weren't taken seriously in any capacity for so long. You know, it's like, fuck, man, it's insane. You know, this is not just like some fucking video game thing we're talking about. This is our undying souls and our Creator, and they want to soil it with. Actually, Mary Magdalene was popping that pussy, and I'd be Mary Magdalene. So, actually, the fact that I'm a hoe now, this is how women talk, by the way. They have baritone voices like mine. Fucking, um, it's just the fucking dumbest shit, bro. You know, it's the dumbest shit. Brendan Dillinger's teacher forced him to put on a dress and high heels. I sure hope not. You know, like honestly, Brendan, like no hate towards you or anything like that at all. It's just I take issue with the things that you're saying, and I don't even think you realize why it's an issue. I don't think I'm dealing. I don't. It's not even what I'm dealing with. I don't think you're dealing with how you actually think. I think what you're dealing with is what you've been conditioned to respond with. I think that's what's going on here. And if you step outside of that programming, which you should feel no shame for being programmed because it's not your fault. Excuse me. Jeez. I'm burping up Domino's and Pizzales. I got some Pizzales from the North End earlier. Some people think these are called pizzelles. No, they're Pizzales, all right? I look Irish as fuck. I'm also very Italian, all right? And I know what these are called. They're not pizzelles. They're Pizzales, okay? Get it the fuck right. Dude, these are strong. I just tried to... Look at that. That's insane. But only like the top 2 or 3 broke. That's crazy. But like, you know, letting the intrusive thoughts win, right? We're gonna take those intrusive thoughts. We're gonna kick them back out. You should feel no shame for being programmed that way because the programming started before you even knew what was going on. And I really think it is just programming. Like, I'm not judging you for having that programming because I had that same programming as well for a very long time. And so did tons of other people, including the probably like 3 people that are in this chat with you, right? There's nothing to be ashamed of, but I think you really need to reconsider the framework that you're judging Christianity, and that includes the way that I'm speaking about Christianity. I think you just need to rethink the framework that you're using to judge what is being said to you. You know, clear. Spunkold says clearly there is no higher power if Medal of Honor is disallowed. Exactly. If God is real and if God is good, why didn't I get Medal of Honor when I was 10 years old, huh? Why do bad things happen to good people, huh? Excuse me. I'm Italian. X says James. I am. I'm very Italian, actually. My the only grandparent I had for the last, actually no, he's been dead since 2021. Do I want? Yeah, fuck it. I'll show him to you. Fuck it. Fuck it. This gentleman right here. That's my Italian grandfather. I miss him to death, man. You know, I think about him every now and again, just randomly, and I'm just like, man, you know. And it sucks because he died of COVID, and I was actually supposed to hang out with him the week before he was diagnosed with the COVID that would kill him. Like literally, like my wife and I were supposed to. You're using the bathroom, but that's true about my grandfather, right? Like we were supposed to get lunch with him, and there was supposed to be a hurricane that never even fucking came. And then, like a week later, he got diagnosed with COVID. Yeah. Yeah, like we would have got COVID from him. We would have been fine. Yeah. You know, I would have rather have just suffered through the COVID for 3 days. You know, see my grandfather one more time. But Yeah. He's also Italian, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's a bobbity boopy.
Very much.
Yeah. Not like fresh off the boat, but he's Italian American. You know, he used to whip out random Italian words. He'd be like, "I gotta go to the pacauza," instead of just saying, "I gotta use a bathroom" and shit like that. You know? Oh man, man, oh man. Uh, hold on. I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I get this fucking thing up. We were supposed to do something today. All right, there we go. We were supposed to do something today, but well, not but, like, you know, I'm just going with the flow here, and the flow is not really 100% like having me go towards that. But I wanted to part of the reason why I was going in on women a minute ago is because um sorry, one sec. Just looking at some ish here. Looking at some ish. Da, 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 da. Anyway, we were gonna look at some of the selfies from the T app. That's part of the reason why I was going in on women so hard a second ago, is because I'm still mad about the T app. Not actually mad about it, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, man, fucking stupid, dude. We're gonna look at some of the selfies if I can track some of them down, which I should be able to. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to uh oh man, that's insane. Anyway, I'm gonna read a little bit of the chat, you know, just to you know, save up some of that dog walking money. What are you guys talking about? Um, oh, talking about fake lean. That's funny. Do, 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 do. So I'm trying to read some of the chat, but I don't want to be reading like slap fights that are going on between people in the chat like that, you know. I'm also quarter Italian, but since my name is Italian, I'm basically 100% Italian. Yeah, like I think for the most part you inherit your father's legacy, right? And that means a couple of things. It's not just the name. It's the spiritual legacy, if you will, you know. I'm very proud of everything that came from my mother's side, including the Italian side, and I try to, because my mother's a mutt just like me. Like my father a mutt, but to a lesser extent than my mother. I wouldn't say that. Regardless, I'm very proud of my Italian heritage. I grew up semi close to it. It's not like I was making fucking panettone or anything like that on Christmas, but like, you know, I was always very proud of my Italian heritage, and a lot of American cookery, a lot of American food culture is Italian or Italian American, if you will. So I was always very close to that in a certain sense, which is part of the reason why when I started getting into my heritage, I really focused in on the Irish heritage, because I didn't know anything about Ireland, the culture, my ancestry, anything like that, you know. But um, in addition to that, through my mother's side, I have a connection to the founding of the nation, as well as the founding of Canada, because I had French Canadian ancestry and I had British. Actually, French Canadian ancestry was through my dad's side, but the British ancestry was through my mom's side. And I was talking about this earlier on the stream that I did in Boston, in fucking Boston, kid. That ancestor of mine not only set up certain parts of New Hampshire, but he also fought in the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War, right? Like, I find that to be extremely important, and I'm really proud of that, but that's not the same as everything being passed down on my dad's side with the whole Irish ancestry thing. Those are two different things, you know. Um, and I think it's very telling about certain cultures. I won't name those specific cultures, but I think it's very telling about certain cultures where you have the legacy being passed down, the culture being passed down through the mother instead of the father. And because of that, there's a lot of feminine bullshit that gets across because of that kind of thing, you know? Um, you have certain cultures where the legacy is passed down through the mother. You cannot get the legacy through the father. It doesn't matter if the father is part of that culture. It doesn't matter at all, you know? It's important that the mother is part of that culture. So you get it through the mother, and then you're raised on this steady diet of we're the best, we're chosen, and everybody outside of us sucks. And instead of fighting for that, what we're going to do is we're going to use subterfuge, and we're going to use entryism, and we're going to use economic and social pressure is what we're going to do. Is what we're going to do. We're going to use all that to get what we want. I don't think it's a coincidence that that's the way that it is, you know? I don't think it's a coincidence that cultures that are like that tend to be some kind of fucked up, you know? Um, but, sorry, just looking around still. Wonder if that's just a function of societal heritage, prioritizing father's heritage, or if there's something genetic behind it. Um, I don't know about that. You know, I think spiritually you get it, you get it through your father. I think there is a spiritual foundation for that, you know. And I think that's what builds proper societies. I think that's how you can judge that that is correct, you know. Outside of I'm trying to remember. Um I'm trying to remember if there's anything in the Bible about that, but I can't. But I do think that there is probably something to do with the fact that, again, the husband doesn't go to the wife's family. The wife goes to the husband's family. You know, like things like that, you know. But we're getting into a conversation that it's interesting, but it's a little bit it's a little bit complicated, it's a little bit deep, and I'm not exactly 100% like equipped to talk about it right now, because these, if I'm being honest with you, are just genuine, yes, but general feelings that I get after kind of just witnessing everything. You know, after all you got to do is look at shit. 99% of the world is empirical. Literally, like this is one of those things that midwits don't want to admit to, but 99% of the world is empirical. You can literally make the correct judgment just looking at stuff. That's all you got to do. That's it. You see something enough times, you are better off making a judgment than if you, instead of experiencing whatever it is, you read it in a book a million times or whatever, you know? Um, Excuse me. Uh, Culture, feminine, across, legacy. Wow. Anything else? Nah, that's it for now. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna look at some of the T app doxes. So, um, now I'm going to admit to something here, right? I got curious about the T app, and I decided I would download it, and I would see what would happen if I tried to sign up, and I would see if there was anybody in my area using it. Because what I've noticed is whenever there's one of these viral things where like there's some kind of buzz about it, nobody in my area is using it. It almost, not that all of these are things where it's like, oh, we don't have to worry about it, but like sometimes I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm like, nobody in my area uses it. So I got curious and I downloaded it, but I got to the point where it asked for selfies, and I decided that I probably would not make a very convincing woman. And I didn't want to be sending my wife's picture into that database, because even though on the app it says that it deletes it right after, we all know that's bullshit. We all know they keep everything you send them, because that's the way those fucking things work. They will straight up lie to you. That's the way that it works. So I didn't get to use the T app. Well, all right, whatever. But literally, this is last night that I was trying this out. Today, I'm vindicated in why I didn't just want to ask my wife, hey, could you maybe make one of those and don't slander me on it? Just show me what's on it instead. She would have slandered me on it. She would have called me gay or something like that. I guarantee it. But I'm happy I didn't do that because this right here, this lady, is the first example that we're going to see today of women who sent their pictures into the T app so that they could slander, probably, I would guess, mostly innocent men, right? Excuse me. Because we know how these witch hunts work. Even if it starts out with somebody who is trying to do the right thing, it always ends up being a situation where hucksters, not even like people who want to profit off of it necessarily, but even just people who want to see somebody they don't like fall. It always ends up in that situation. So here we are, 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Look at all this. Look at all this. That's insane. That's fucking insane. What I'm gonna do, right? I decided I'd do this real quick. Also, is Negative XP's music copyrighted? Will I get bopped for Negative XP? Does anyone know that? Does anyone know if the I don't think he goes explicitly by Negative XP. I think he goes by Shooter. Does anyone know if he copyrights people? If he copyright strikes people? I don't know. I don't know. But that's the, as you can see. We got one. This is definitely a Latina. She's got that like Mexican, maybe even Puerto Rican, but I would guess probably Mexican sort of phenotype going on. Let's see here. Oh man. This you know how Nick Rochefort always talks about the college soccer player, the college field hockey player whose car is a complete mess, and they have like panties that have crust on them, laying on their bedroom floor and stuff like that, and they marry like a latent homosexual dude. Um, that is this woman right here, 1,000,000%. There is uh-oh, uh-oh. Anyway, that was that woman. I have another great one right here. I have another great one. This, I'm not sure if it's a Latina. This could be a Latina. Judging by the shape of the face as well as the eyebrows and the nose structure, but it also might be a white woman. It might be a white woman. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go ahead and see. Bang. Oh, hey, we are. Wow, that's a twofer. That's a twofer. We already got this chick once. Let's not forget that the women were suckered into being a target and the men were suckered into reacting to the female nature. I don't buy into that. I got to be 100% honest with you. But now, don't get me wrong. We are in a world where there are constant psyops, there are constant attacks, and all this other stuff. But we, from a young age, even in certain school systems, we were taught about cause and effect. We were taught about empathy. We were taught about not being a bully, not lying about people. We were taught about all of these things at an institutional level, at least where I was at. And then on top of that, if you had parents that gave enough of a shit, they would teach you just to not do that in the most general sense. I find it very, very hard to sit here and believe that these women are victims. They're not victims. If there wasn't a hack, or if some people are calling it vibe coding, if there wasn't vibe coding and these women were completely and totally protected and nobody was able to actually access their selfies, none of them, excuse me, would feel bad. None of them would be like, I don't know, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't a good thing. No, it was not a good thing. None of them were going to do that. It's that classic thing where it's not that you're sorry you did it, it's that you're sorry you got caught. And that's what a lot of these people, that's what a lot of women today are. They're not sorry they did it. They're only sorry they got caught, you know? And bang. Ooh, yeah, you see, This is a girl who is probably not very happy with her lower face, and that is why there's the like that. That's probably what it is with her. Oh man, I can only imagine like what is fucking old Yvonne Moldy doing here? What is this chick doing here? Like this is for young women to gossip and spread libelous claims and things like that. Like none of it's good, but it's especially weird when you see a woman like this on it. It's like who is she going to talk about? Or maybe she's someone who is just like, I want to see if my son's on there just to make sure. I don't know. Either way, um, they're victims because they're stupid. Most of them probably, they really believe the app was designed to protect them from danger. I don't think that makes you a victim. I just think you're stupid for that. You know, I don't think you're like, there's situations where you are victimizing somebody who is stupid or who is lonely or desperate. That's a great way to describe OnlyFans. OnlyFans women are preying upon lonely men, victimizing them, right? That is the way that OnlyFans works. That's the way you make money on OF. That's a situation where you can say that the mark is a victim, right? These women, like I said, for one thing, it's not like the T app came out and was like, ha ha ha, we got you, ladies. You thought we were legit? No, 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 no. The T app didn't want that to happen, but the T app is stupid. You know? These women, even if they are stupid, for one thing, I don't think they're as stupid as you or I might even think, a lot of them, right? But even beyond that, even if they were the dumbest of the dumb, even if they were just like an inch above legally retarded, even if that's how close they were to being able to qualify for disability and things like that, um, that's they're not victims. It's like I said, they all understand empathy. They all understand how they would feel if somebody was doing it about them. They all understand that this is not something they should be doing. And if the T app was not vibe coded, if the T app did not have a bunch of stupid idiots running their cybersecurity, if they had actually deleted their shit in the first place, then again, these women would not be like flipping out. They would not have been discovered, and they would not be upset. That's just the way that it is, you know. Um, Bro, she's at work. I did, is this chick at work, or does she, maybe she works from home? Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know. You know, there was a version of this when I was in school that was linked to Tinder. I think these apps are cyclical, don't have staying power. Oh yeah, 100%. You know, I remember when I was a kid, we had Form Spring. That was one of the things we had. My wife, she's from Brazil. They had Orkut or Orkut. ORKUT. And these were anonymous social media platforms that allowed you to say what you really felt about somebody and stuff like that. And people would take them and they'd link them on Facebook and be like, hey, say something to me. Ha ha ha. Um, excuse me. And people would use them to like bully each other and stuff like that. It was kind of fucked up. But yeah, like that's the you know, that was like my sophomore year of high school. So that was like, 2010, 2011, somewhere around there, I want to say. These things do come and go, but I don't know if there's ever been a situation where it's been specifically and only for women, and where it has been so overtly about spreading false information and gossip and things like that, you know? CBD and ecstasy conceited with those. Oh, look, Massachusetts. I don't know that woman, but we're gonna go ahead anyway. I will say, right, I don't agree with doxing addresses and things like that. This is a fun little thing we're doing. We're just looking at random pictures of dummies and stuff like that. I don't even know what to say about this woman. Fucking just ride the waves, bro. Ride the waves. But I don't like I don't think that was okay. Posting driver's licenses and things like that. I don't think that was acceptable. And I do think that is probably a sign of idiocy from these women, is that like, because they're like, but I don't look good right now, but I don't want to take a selfie right now because like I'm at home and I don't have my makeup on and I didn't do my hair and I'm in my PJs. They're literally that neurotic about the way that they look that they were like, okay, fuck it, I'll use my ID instead, because at the very least that was a picture I was prepared to take so I don't look terrible in it. It's crazy when you see that kind of thing. Like women don't realize how foolish that is. I deal with it like with like my wife even, where it's like, yo, like we would get hit by a train because you're trying to fix your hair. It's like insane the way that is, dude. And the only reason I'm comfortable saying that is because that's just how women are. That's just like a woman thing. Like she could come in here and say things that are true about me because it's a guy thing and I'm a guy and that just is what it is. But like that's one of those woman things where it's like, oh my god, but I don't, but like but my hair doesn't look good. I don't want to send a selfie right now to these people, so I'll send this, and I'll take a picture of my ID that shows my address, and it'll be okay though. It's like so stupid, bro. So fucking dumb, dude. Can't wait for Scott to stop the video and see his wife. Probably, bro. Probably. I ended up on the app. My wife calling me like all sorts of shit. Yourself. Right side hair. Bang. Oh man. I already don't like this chick's attitude. You see it in the eyes. A lot of the time attitude is in the eyes, and like women with attitude will do their eye makeup like this, and it's just like, man, that is terrible. That is a terrible, you know? I've never met a woman who knows how to use a computer. That's true. That's true. Oh, I almost read Hidalgo's thing again. Oh, the one you're talking about was only for women too? Ah, that's interesting. That is interesting. I never learned about that. I never heard about that. Bang. Uh-oh. 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 Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this one. Honestly. Communism is the a fucking another one. What's with like what do they have their phones like down here and they're just like they're just overlooking their phones on their thing. They can't get their whole chin in there. Oh, like literally one of the things that I was considering doing was taking a close-up picture of my eye, but the app was so buggy when I tried to do it. I was just like, bro, I don't even give a fuck. I think that probably would have worked considering that they are allowing this to pass. You know? Way to go. Oh man, what is with these, dude? What is going? Why do they do this? And this is you can't look at me and tell me this is not a lesbian. What is she doing there? This is just a lesbian who wants to spread like rumors about dudes she's not even into. Like that's how evil this chick is. She's like, I don't even like dudes. I'm just go on there and fuck around. If there's a messaging like part of this app, if there's a messaging thing of this app, I guarantee you this woman is going in and being like, hey baby girl, like trying to hit on other women, you know? Oh, she's a whore. Oh man. Oh man. This fucking Jeff the Killer, dude. What the fuck? I'm a dozen Jezebel. What the? Clearly laying in bed. This is the pillow right here. I love the unevenness. It's like since she's laying on the pillow, you see just straight, and then you see a slight curve here. There's just something great about that. It's fucking amazing. man. This girl isn't even this girl is pretty, but again, she's just like the way, just like you can tell a little bit about a girl by the way they do their makeup with the bitchy one. This is one of those. Testing. I could hear my yeah, I can, on occasion when I speak, I can hear myself through my own earbuds. It's weird. Um this girl is 110% a problem. She has been the problem in every single relationship of hers, but she always finds a way to try and blame somebody else, you know? Not even finds a way. It's not like you have to find a way. What's going to happen is you're going to break up with a guy, you're going to go on to the next guy, and you're going to tell quote unquote horror stories about the last guy, and the new guy is going to be like, what? Dude, how could he do that? What? And then 6 months later, the new guy's gonna be like, fuck, I know why you would do that. I get it now. I get it. This chick is definitely 100% a problem, and you can tell by the hair, by the makeup, you know, by the weird smirk on her face and the look in her eyes. There's a strange vacancy in the eyes. There's a strange vacancy in the eyes, even though you can see the slight smirk, you know? I don't know if this woman has ever felt a genuine emotion in her entire life. There is a good chance that she has been faking it her entire life, and the closest thing she can feel towards genuine emotion is getting attention, being the center of attention, and having a guy, or anybody, but especially a guy, that she can order around in one way or another, you know? Oh man, we got fucking Spider Woman here. I don't even know what to say about this one. Honestly, it's just how are they doing that? What is happening here? The real money move is to make a version of this app called P for Men. That's a good idea, Hi Ecuador. We're gonna do that. I did see in response to that, somebody was talking about they made a guy version of the app, and I think it was called like Box Raider or something like that, or Rate Box or something like that. I don't even know. I don't even know. You know, Scott Soul is an incel. Oh man, damn! You caught me. You caught me, Connor. You caught me. I'm an incel. Oh, I like one of the best things I've ever heard. BG Cumby doesn't get enough credit for some of his jokes and stuff like that. Turning the word incel into internet celebrity and making shirts about that was a fantastic move. I love the hell out of that. I chuckle about that every time I think about it. BG Cumby is like one of the great untapped early YouTube guys who absolutely positively should have made millions, and he just didn't. And so someone's got to get him as like a writer for a show or something like that, because he came up with everything he did on his own, you know, and he just I love the hell out of that guy's stuff, and he's just a really cool guy. I got to meet him when World Peace. I've talked to him sporadically here and there because I knew him. Well, I didn't know him, but I was in the same circle as him for this thing that was going on years ago. And then when I started palling around with Sam and everybody like that, I got to meet Cumby because he was in a World Peace 2, an Extreme Peace sketch, and I was the extra. I was the only extra. All the other extras were CGI. I was the only extra, actually. Cumby might be good on Fish Tank. It would be cool to see him on Fish Tank. That would be cool. Bro is still making millions, just doing it through finance work. Bro, I hope so, man. I hope so. You know, dude deserves it. Scott is Peterson's top guy. Oh man, that was a trip for me when I was younger, learning about the Scott Peterson case. I was in like the 4th or 5th grade, maybe even the 6th grade when that was like big in the news. And just every time I would hear Scott Peterson, I'd hear my name, so my ears would perk up, and they'd be like, Scott Peterson's case where he killed, and I was like, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, oh damn it, man, oh fuck. Scott Sullen Cell. That's exactly what it is. Man. Again, like, not an ugly woman, but you just see the vulture in the eyes, you know? There's resting bitch face, and then there's vulture face. And this is not just resting bitch face. I know about resting bitch face. I've seen really nice, really kind women who just have a kind of look in their face. That's not what this is. These are predator eyes. You know, these are the female version of predator eyes. What can I even say? We'll do a couple more. We'll do a couple more. This, you see, it's hard for me to find fault with this woman's looks, right? And I was going to talk about something. I was going to talk about something that encapsulates everything wrong with the T app, as well as everything wrong with girl culture in the world today. And what's wrong with girl culture is the fact that it exists. This is something I annoy my wife with whenever she's watching a dumbass like thing that she watches. You can ask her; she'll tell you. I do. Women were not meant to have an ecosystem of their own in the way that they do nowadays. They were not meant to have, and I'm not saying like women shouldn't have their own bathrooms and their own spaces in that way, but when I say women weren't meant to have the bathroom, what I mean is women were not supposed to have what the girls' bathroom represents. The way girls talk about their experiences in the girls' room and stuff like that, it's almost like a holy place to them and stuff like that. It's a place only the girls go, and it's a safe space, and it's where they can have a cry if they need, or they can fix their makeup, and they can gossip with their gals and stuff like that. Oh, hey, I need a tampon. like just have those conversations and shit like that. They were not meant to have a culture in that way. They weren't meant to grow up on movies that are for them and stuff like that. Mean Girls. Um, there was this one movie with Britney Spears. It's like a coming of age movie. The girl that I dated, who I thought I was going to marry before I met my wife, she grew up watching those movies and stuff like that. And I forget what the movie's called, but it was like a girl. She gets good grades, and she's a really good girl, and she's got a dad but no mom, and she's been living life the right way, but you know what? She's got a wild side that nobody knows about, and she's gonna go on an adventure is what she's gonna do. And like, they weren't meant to have those kinds of things, because what happens when women have a culture, when they have an ecosystem like that, is they start having an incestuous relationship with themselves. They start huffing their own farts, and they start putting themselves in situations like this where they actually think it's a good idea to join an app like that and send a picture in on it so that they and all the other girls can gossip about the boys and stuff like that. They were not meant to have things like that. It's one thing, Girl Scouts, right? Girl Scouts is teaching women how to be good homemakers, how to be good women in general. It's one thing when it's something like that, but it's something completely and totally different when, again, it's like Mean Girls, right? It's all about girls, girls, girls all the time. And again, like, this is where the whole thing with Mary Magdalene comes into play, where every woman who is just like a complete fucking idiot wants to believe that Mary Magdalene actually played that much of an important role in the story of Jesus, as if they were actually married, as if they were actually fucking each other or something like that, right? That comes from that whole we're girls, we're girls, we're girls, we're girls, yay, we're girls, oh, girls, sex, girls, that's what that comes from, you know? And it's just such a disgusting, vapid, empty. It's just bad, man. It's just bad, bottom line, you know? And this is what it leads to. It leads to a slander app. It leads to a libel app, because slander is when it's said, libel is when it's printed. Hold on a sec. This is what it leads to, because women are not good at imposing limits on themselves. They don't do it. Women just don't do that kind of thing. It's not something they've ever been good at because they simply don't do it. If you allow a woman to do whatever she wants all the time, she's going to do whatever she wants all the time, regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter. You know, she'll find a way to do it. And that includes some of the most heinous things you have ever seen or heard of. And it's just, man, you know. Sorry, one sec. Man. Um, Mean Girls. You're actually a phonic. Okay. Um, yeah, I was wondering what a phonic is too, but I was like, whatever. But like it's a hard thing to explain coherently for me, because for one thing, it's something that I only came to the conclusion of recently, like within the last few months is when I started having that thought process, is when I came to that realization, right? But then in addition to that, it's extra tough because I want to make the point without it sounding like women are just meant to like sit at the kitchen table waiting for you to be home. That's not the case, right? Um I don't think it's bad to have things that are for women. I don't think that it's bad to have groups to have girls hangout session and shit like that. That makes it sound real weird. Hangout session, girls' night, and stuff like that. I don't think it's a bad thing to have that every single time, but we've taken it to a level where, um, again, it has an incestuous relationship with itself, and every subsequent generation has given birth to a new add-on to that culture that is more vapid and more disgusting than the last one. If it makes sense what I'm trying to say. You know? All of this girl stuff, girls only, no boys allowed, all that shit. All this stuff that's like, oh, you wouldn't understand because you're just a boy. Oh, you didn't grow up watching Mean Girls. You wouldn't understand. You're a boy. To have women in their 20s and 30s who are still talking and acting like they're 12, 13, 14 years old, that's a byproduct of this gynocentric culture. And we live in a gynocentric culture, but what I'm even talking about, it's almost separate from it in a certain sense, where there's a ton of overlap. You know, we live in a gynocentric culture. Everything goes back to women and how they feel and what they want and all this other stuff. But then on top of that, you also have this situation where women are, again, they're growing up in a parallel society practically. They're growing up with a parallel culture where they have their own movies, they have their own music. All their music is just like, I either want to fuck tons of guys or I want to get back at the guy that I let fuck me, and now I'm mad at him for whatever reason, because they're raised on that kind of thing. You end up with this, which is a woman who's probably, I want to say she's 31, 32 on a good day, 31, 32 on a good day, and she's on the women's gossip app, you know? Carl Ripken says, I'm only interested in younger women. I like older women, specifically 6 months older. My wife is about 6 months older than me. Actually, I think it's 7. Baby, have you heard of the T app? That's good. That's good. That's what I'm talking about right now. Yeah. That's because I don't let you leave the house or have a phone. You just I let you fold laundry and that's it. I love you. I may not have grown up watching Mean Girls, but God knows I grew up being mean, mean to girls, says Hi Ecuador. Damn right. You goddamn right. Like, the well has been poisoned. Anytime you talk about gender relations or anything like that, somebody's going to call you an incel. And I mean, my wife was literally in the room with me as I was talking about this stuff. You know, she was actually getting ready for bed. She was, she was changing and, she went into the bathroom to like, fucking fuck with her hair and shit like that. Um, but like no matter what, when you talk about this stuff, somebody's gonna accuse you of being an incel, somebody's gonna accuse you of being a this or a that or another thing. It is what it is, you have to just accept that somebody's gonna be mad about it. And somebody's gonna have something bad to say about you and stuff like that. But it does make it a little bit tough to talk about in that sense. Overall, you just gotta realize that like you're not wrong because society was built for thousands of years off of that tenet. And anytime that tenet was threatened in any way, shape, or form, that's when society started to collapse. Um, People will claim all sorts of stuff, and they're not even 100% wrong, right? But the one common factor, regardless of who is involved, regardless of what time, what date, whatever, the one common factor that all of these civilizations have in their collapse tends to be something to do with women deciding that they are going to develop their own parallel culture where now they're all hanging out and they're having their philosophical talks, and instead of talking about the nature of being and what conscience is versus what unconsciousness is, and whether or not there is a heaven or a hell, instead of speaking about that, instead of speaking about what makes the Ubermensch versus the Untermensch or anything like that, they talk about my pussy, my pussy, my pussy, my pussy, my pussy, my pussy, pussy, pussy. That's what they do, and eventually that grows. They get enough women on their side, and then they decide they're going to go external with it, meaning they're going to start pressuring society to give them things that they don't deserve or need in the first place. And then that's one of the biggest ways that that society is weakened. It's just a reality, Fucking, they have a pretty bad track record of saying the stupidest stuff imaginable. I don't get why anyone still listens to what they have to say. Yep. Well, we can sit here and all agree that men are a certain way, but we're not allowed to agree that women are a certain way, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Let me. Yep. All right, we're good on that front. That's Peach Boy official says that's why I'm trans. Um, breastfeeding circles were a thing. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Be nice. Like, was that a way that women would hang out in the past? Like, being like women congregating based around motherhood is what they were supposed to be doing. That was supposed to be the culture that they were involved in. It wasn't supposed to be women congregating just for the sake of congregating because they want to hang out with their gal pals, you know? Have you ever dated a woman who has a group of friends past the age of like 19 or 20? It's fucking ridiculous, dude. You got a 23-year-old woman who can't this was the ex that I was talking about, the girl that I thought I was going to marry. 22, 23 years old, can't even keep a fucking job. I'm basically paying for everything for her. And I can't even get her to cook me dinner when I get home from working. I work, I buy the dinner, I go home, I have to cook the dinner. You know? When I start getting upset and I'm like, yo, you gotta fucking do something, man. Like, cook me dinner at least once, dude. I'll bring it home for you. Fucking just do it. She starts getting real pissed. And this whole time, she's got this group of like 3 or 4 gal pals that she always has to see. She, like I said, she can't even keep a job. She doesn't have money, but she's gonna spend money she doesn't have on gas so that she can go drive 40 minutes away to hang out with a friend of hers that moved 40 minutes away, because that's how dependent she is on those women, you know? Um, it's just, it's fucking ridiculous, you know? Everything you do, everything you say is reviewed by the committee, you know? Every decision that she makes is via committee. It's ridiculous, you know? Women were not, like, specifically past a certain age, nobody is meant to be having friends on that level. See them every day, make decisions in your life based off of what they have to say. That's not what you're supposed to do at all. You know, it doesn't matter what you are. You know, it doesn't matter what you are. You know, fucking guy, girl, horse, dog, whatever. If you have friends past the age of like 20, 21, where it's like, no, but I gotta see him. I gotta see my bros, dude. I gotta hang with the bros every day, dude. Dude, but like, if I do this, I won't be able to hang with the bros as much, dude. Like, if you're that, you're not gonna make it. It just ain't gonna happen. You know, you got too much time on your hands, and you're not even using it wisely. You're spending it with fucking people that you shouldn't be spending it with. You know. Sorry, one sec. Oh,
Quit yapping and being a femcel and do some push-ups.
being a femcel? No, 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 sir. I'm not a femcel. No, no, no. Um, all right, I'm gonna do the push-ups again. It's kind of tough because like there's no real place for me to do the push-ups that you guys are gonna be able to see. I can film the push-ups, or you can just trust me. You know, I am gonna do the push-ups though. I promise you. Oh yeah, but like that's like if you have friends past a certain age, that's a sign of immaturity and a sign that you're just not gonna make it. That's just the way that it is. You know. Um, it's bonkers, you know, but it's especially bad if you're a woman because those friends are going to hold you back even if they don't mean to, you know. You're all there, she and her friends, they're always going to be thinking in terms of, yeah, but like I got to see my gals, I got to see my girlies, but yeah, like we got to hang out, we got to see each other every day and stuff like that, you know. Like that's how it works, that's how we do things. We're gal pals, we're girlies, we do that stuff, you know. um and because of that, when and literally this is what happened with, and I'm gonna do the push-ups. I'm gonna do the push-ups. I just want to put a tack, not a tack, but I want to put a lid on this, right? Oh, excuse me. um Fuck, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like it ruined our relationship. It was a big reason why our relationship got ruined, because instead of growing up, she just decided she was going to stick with her fucking gal pals. And her gal pals aren't helping her. One of them was addicted to heroin, moved out to Ohio. Another one only cares about herself. Another one only cares about herself, you know? And now this girl got pregnant with another dude's kid right after we ended up breaking up, right after she broke up with me. Um, and now she's a single mom. She was 23. The kid that she had the baby by was 19, and he was like a flunky out of technical school. You know, like I know people say Jet is a wigger. No, Jet just likes Balenciaga. Jet just likes Balenciaga and dressing weird because whatever, he likes it. This dude was a straight up wigger. I'm telling you, he used to hit me up like, "Hey yo, what's the deal? Why you fucking with my shorty? Why you fucking with shorty?" He literally would hit me up saying that shit, and it was like, oh fuck, oh damn. Meanwhile, I'm getting my shit together. I'm actually taking life serious and I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm going to work every day, not losing my job every 6 months and having to find another one. I'm saving money. I quit weed. I start taking training seriously because I wasn't taking it seriously at first. I'll be honest with you. That's why I ended up 1-2 in MMA. Part of the reason, anyway. There's more than that, but that's probably the big reason that I could have controlled. You know. Um, then you have like all these other things that happen, and I mean, considering where I'm at in my life, I'd say I made the right decisions. But it's time for those push-ups. Um. Hmm. Hmm. I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna do the push-ups in my room where I can film them, where I can film them real quick. But thank you very much, Hi Ecuador, for the $20. By the way, you know, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry again. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna set this thing up. I'm getting ready to do them right now. Don't you worry. All right, I'm setting up right now. I'm going to do them. Almost did photo instead of video. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're good here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Sometimes I think of Chris Chan, right? Because there's a video Chris Chan put out where he was doing dumbbell curls with 12 packs of soda. Like, I just happen to have a Coke 12 pack right here. He had like an unopened 12 pack of soda, and he was like, 9, 10, 11 to whatever he did, whatever number he did. And after that, he just was like, he puts them down and he's like, whoo, what a workout. There was something about that that just made me crack the fuck up when he said that. I don't know what it was. But thank you very much, Peach Boy Official, for the $5. Thank you so much, dude. Dated girls like that, tragic stuff, can't let it linger. We all wished we could have done the impossible. We keep our souls cleaner than our flesh. Yeah, at least we try anyway, I guess. Um, you know, it's good that she and I didn't end up together, though. Excuse me. Um, if we would have been good together, I wouldn't have had to do so much telling her to like fuck off with all her shit all the time, you know? Um, like I don't buy into the idea this is something that like I disagree with when it comes to Sam and the way that he talks about relationships and stuff like that. I don't think a relationship is as simple as, oh, dude, it doesn't matter what your girl thinks. It doesn't matter how she feels. Just like get good at manipulating her. Like, oh, yeah, sure thing. Let's watch Wally, you know? Oh, hey, I guess there's a new Toy Story. Hey, let's watch Toy Story. You want to watch Toy Story? I don't think that is I don't think that's the hallmark of a relationship that's going to work out. Like one thing that I'm learning in my fourth year of marriage, my fifth year of being with my wife, is that you definitely can't win them all. And there's some things you do just definitely have to let go, even if in your head you're like, you fucking dumbass, why are you doing that? Like, even if in your head you're like, I can't believe I married this woman, you know? And I know she feels the same way sometimes. She's looking at me like, why the fuck did I marry this guy? Right? Even if you're thinking that sometimes, you just got to let it go. There's things, right? But you need to be able to know that your wife would not vote to have you killed. You need to know that your wife is not going to do things that are directly harmful to you on either a societal level or a personal level. You need to know that she's not going to magically develop this idea that actually it's polyamory is a good thing. You got to know that she's not going to magically develop into that one day, you know? And there's no guarantees, obviously, but um, it's still like, you know, um, there's women that you can tell. There's women that you can tell that are going to be like that. And it's not always just with like political shit. It also comes down to like trailer trash shit. Like that's honestly what I can say my ex is. She doesn't live in a trailer park, but but she might as well be a trailer park girl the way she ended up, you know? She's still a degenerate weed smoker. She's still like militantly single, like one of those weird freaks. She's just like bad. She's just not good. And she wasn't good back then. And it wasn't even anything I did. Yeah, I was not a good influence back then either, but she would have ended up that way even if I was not a bad influence. And I know that because when I changed and I started becoming a better influence and I started trying to be better for her, and when I expected her to be better for me, she did not rise with me. They say a rising tide is it raises all boats, right? It elevates all boats. That's not the case because some boats have holes in them. And a rising tide is just going to sink the boat. That's just the way that it is. And she was a boat with a hole in it. She was damaged goods. That's just the way that it was. Same thing, a girl that I dated after that woman, right? Basically, there was the girl I thought I was going to marry. There was like one or two other women between her that I kind of, fooled around with. And then there was one girl who was so bad, I decided that I was going to swear off women for like the better part of 2 years, you know? Um, until I met my wife, right? It wasn't like, you know what, I'm off women for 2 years. It was like, nah, I'm swearing off women. That's it. I'm out of here. Whatever. I'll figure it all out. You know. Um, but like this girl was another example of that. She's in her mid to late 30s at this point. She still wears a side cut like it's 2011 and Skrillex just hit the scene. Still dyes her hair weird fucking colors. I don't know what she's doing for work, but I mean, she's just not like she's just not a good person to be with. It's just a fact of the matter. And it's not because like it's strictly because of the choices and the type of person that she decided to be. Um oh no, you donated $5. That means you can ask Scott to read a Bible verse or do a meme review. Look at the side of the video for fuck's sake. Actually, it has to be through Streamlabs. If you want me to do one of those things, it has to be through Streamlabs. All right. If you do it through YouTube, I might do it. Depending on, depending. But usually it's got to be Streamlabs. If it's Streamlabs, I'm 100% gonna do it. But if you do it through YouTube, it's like, okay, well, maybe. Anyway, um, I watched the entire first season of Girls with a girl I was madly in love with. Worst mistake of my life. Oh yeah, 100%. Another one of those is 13 Reasons Why. Um, that's one of those ones where like Women like women literally envision themselves to be the girl that killed themselves. That's what 13 Reasons Why is. That's what it's meant to be. Is the women who are watching it, because it's only women watching it and maybe gay men, but the target demographic is women, specifically of the teenage and early 20-year-old variety. Um, um, these women who are watching it, they envision themselves as the main character who killed themselves, and all of these people all of a sudden care, and they like care about these tapes that she apparently recorded and stuff like that. Like that's what I'm talking about with that ecosystem shit. How many women do you know? Well, not how many women do you know, but how many women do you think watched that and they were like, "Oh, so that's what I need to do to get somebody to care? That's what I need to do to get somebody to care? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna kill myself, and I'm gonna make 13 tapes, and I'm gonna be like, this is my 13 reasons why. Number one was the guy who called me a bitch one day. Like, it's literally that. And again, women were not meant to have that. They weren't meant to do that, you know? That's a false sense of femininity that is really the same as if men were like it's femininity, but only femininity insofar as like that's what an 11-year-old girl would do, you know? It's 11-year-old girl culture, if you will. And women, whether or not they experience that culture when they're 11, they're supposed to outgrow that eventually. They're not supposed to be still being that way when they're 16, 17, 18, all the way into their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you know? But you have a lot of these women who are that age. I remember going to watch the Barbie movie, right, with my wife because she wanted to see it, and it was also a meme. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go with you. Who cares? And I just remember seeing all these middle aged women with pink shirts on that had like Barbie or like some other thing written on them. And it's like, dude, don't you have kids? Like, I get it. Okay, girls' night, yeah, whatever. But like, you're too old to be dressing up in a uniform going to watch the Barbie movie. That is the dumbest fucking shit you've ever like. Sh- Go make your kids some like dinner or something like that. Get out of here. What are you doing? You know, and that is a contributing factor. Again, you know, it's arrested development. It's Peter Pan syndrome for women is really what it is. You know, um, 13 reasons why I'm the realest in the streets, homie. Says Bonjour Skeet. Of course, of course. I believe all 13. 13 reasons why I'm the realest in the streets. Reason one, fuck you. Reason two, fuck you again. Reason three, I fuck your bitch. Reason four, you was watching. The 13 reasons why I be balling so hard. Reason number one, Air Jordans. Man. Reason number one, left Air Jordan. Reason number two, right Air Jordan. 14 reasons that I can't say. 14 reasons that I can't say for some reason. Reason number one, I don't know. Man. But yeah, it's like, it's incredibly hard to shame me, you know? And the reason why is because I'm secure in myself. I know who I am and I know what I mean by the things that I say. So when somebody accuses me of being an incel, which I'm sure, you know, some of there were like a couple of people who were saying it. Some of them, if not all of them, were just joking around. They were trying to bust balls, which is perfectly fine. But um, I'm not going to get mad at something like that because I know it's not true. My wife is literally sitting out in the fucking living room right now. Like, I don't think incels get married. I think that's kind of part of their thing, you know? In fact, involuntary celibate isn't even really the moniker for them because it's not about sex for them most of the time. Not to get too deep into the topic of incels, it's more about companionship, you know? But, um, like, call me whatever you want. Try and misconstrue what I'm saying however you want. I know what I mean by it, and that's enough for me. And I'm not afraid of some fucking idiot, especially not a woman, because it's usually women who like to, you know, throw that shit out there. I'm not afraid of being called that by anybody. Like, who cares, you know? Again, I'm not insecure in that way. And then, like I said, because I know what point I'm trying to make, it helps. Um, it's not just aimless, like angry, like the world should be different. It's not that. It's that I know how the world should be, and I know how what I'm talking about has contributed to the world being bad in that way. And because of that, I'm able to talk about it without shame, you know, even when somebody is trying to shame me in that way. Scott's a femcel for sure. Dude, I've been wanting to show you guys what I realized is the Brazilian femcel song. It's the song called Numa Ilha. I'm pretty sure is what it's called. Ilha. Yes. Hold on. This is like we're not gonna listen to the song because I don't want to get copyright struck, right? But we'll watch some of the video, right? This is like the this is the again like femcel physiognomy, right? With this woman, femcel physiognomy. Okay, you can tell she's very Brazilian. Got that Portuguese phenotype about her, right? This is like I'll let you hear. I'll let you listen to it a little bit, right? Like this is the exact kind of music video that like a femcel would make if she became like a pop star and shit like that, you know? And then like there's also a point in this where it becomes like dark out of nowhere. It's like I actually like this song. There is something about the song that I actually do enjoy. It's a part of my playlist. It's one of those guilty pleasure songs. But again, like you see, like this is that's exactly fucking like I came to the revelation the other day. I came to the revelation the other day, and I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys some of the lyrics, right? This is like do 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 do. Trying to see the translations here. It's just like exactly what like it's just crazy to me like how one for one it is with what you would expect a femcel to make. Like I could see. Dude, is it gonna actually yeah, it's not doing the translations or anything like that. I'm wondering if I can do damn. Ah, well, it's not that big a deal. If you wanted to look it up on your own, you could. It's one of those guilty pleasure songs, where it's like, oh no, the song is actually pretty good. I enjoy it. Even though it's Brazilian, it's got sort of like a Spanish feel to it. I don't know if flamenco is the right word, but it's got like a Spanish feel to it. It's a good song. It's a good song. But it's like I just realized exactly what it is, and it's like, man, this chick is she definitely used to make she definitely used to play Sims, and she would make a sim of her crush that she would like lock in a basement. Oh, excuse me. I think she sold me a Slurpee for 4 for 1.99. I'll bet she did, Bonjour Skeet. Excuse me, Scott's wife's theme song might as well be. Um Hashtag relatable. Hashtag relatable. I'll be honest with you, we got 20 more minutes and I'm not 100% sure how to spend the time. So I feel some AoE coming on. I feel some AoE coming on, but I'm going to give it a minute before I jump on the AoE just in case anyone wants to talk about anything else specifically, you know? Um Sorry, just checking messages really, really quick. Yeah, fuck it. I'll get back to him later. I wonder if she's a Riff Raff fan. She should do a remix of tiptoeing in my Jordans. She should. She definitely should. Scott, do you have any names picked out for any hypothetical kids in your future? Yeah, for a boy, we were thinking Dominic because my wife always wanted a boy named Dominic. Um, I'm not sure what we would do for a second boy or anything like that. For a girl, one of the things we were thinking of was having a girl. If we were to have a girl, naming her after our mothers. I'm not going to say our mothers' names or anything like that. Um, but it would probably be like my mother's first name, and then the middle name might be her mother's, because um, my mother's name is a name that they also have in Brazil, but her mother's name is not a name that we really have in America. Um, so it's kind of a situation where it's like, okay, like we give her the first name as something that could be said in both cultures, I guess, if you will, and then the middle name is the one that's, not really common in America and things like that. Um, Carter says Bawston was great, dude. Boston's always great, dude. Dude, fucking Boston's the best, dude. We got fucking baked beans and shit, dude. We got fucking baked beans and chowder. You mix them together, you vomit all over the floor. You wash your mouth out with a Sam Adams, dude. It's fucking great, kid. Um, excuse me. Uh, I've hashtag I married an incel and can't leave him because I will be deported. If it's a boy, you got to name him High Ecuador Sullivan. That's what's gonna happen. Thought you were gonna get gone. What do you mean, Carl Ripken? I'm confused by that. Anyway, I'm gonna play a quick round of AOE before we call it for the night. Now I have that song stuck in my head. It's a good song though. Like I like it. That's why I know about it in the first place. I have a couple of different songs stuck in my head. Alrighty then. I think I think I think Brazilian music is probably going to come to America at some point, not like in its pure unadulterated form, but I could see certain rap artists or like certain other people like in like pop especially using Brazilian beats. Like was there some kind of meme this summer about Brazilian funk? Like I heard people talking about funk edits and stuff like that. Um, but what was I gonna say? All right, first off, let's get it ready. Let's get it ready. But, um, fuck, what was I gonna say? Yeah, well, like I feel like that was a meme going around or something like that. I could be wrong though, but like, it's really good. It is like really, it is really really good. Like Brazilian music, and I know it's hard to get into specifically because they're not speaking English. But like the beats, if you can just rock with the beats, like if you like electronic music, I think you'll probably like it. I would highly recommend it. Excuse me. Just sitting here waiting. I don't know why it's taking so long to I don't know why it's I don't know why it's taking so long. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. All right, we got it. We done got it. I'm ready. Dude, me and Taylor have not won a game in like 2 or 3 nights. It's insane. We'll play online and we'll get shitty partners who don't know what they're doing if it's like a 4v4 and we'll just get our shit pushed in because it's basically 4v2 because our shitty partners don't do what they're supposed to do, you know? Um what else is it? Either that or like the other team really is just that good that like even if we have good partners, just the way they're playing is just we just can't keep up with them, you know? It's crazy. Like I don't think we've won a single game in like 2 or 3 nights. It's frustrating. It's real frustrating. I don't like losing, especially not on something like AoE. AoE activates my fucking almonds. There's a neuron activation when I'm playing AoE, and because of that, it makes me real upset when I lose. You know, but we got Lithuanians here. It's not even when I lose specifically, it's when I lose in a way that's not satisfying. It's like if you beat me because you're better, it's one thing, but if you beat me because you're like sweaty and you're playing a certain way, it's like, oh, I fucking hate you. You know? Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go here. Why did I forget to queue those villies up? I gotta look over the Pitsalies here. Lithuanian culture is fascinating. How so, Hi Ecuador? I'm curious. I like the last time we played, right, on stream, I beat this dude who was streaming on Kick, and we checked out his stream, and his APM was insane. His APM put me to shame, but because I knew how to deal with his strat, he had an all-in strat on trying to rush me with rams and scorpions. He had an all-in strat on that. Because I was able to defend against that strat, he had nothing. There wasn't a thing he could do about it. And we actually tuned into his stream, and we watched it, and we populated his stream, and he was mad excited for it. I'm actually kind of happy that that made his day a little bit. That was kind of cool, you know. Wait, what? Huh? Oh, why, hello there. Now, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna go over there, and I'm gonna hope that he does not get a hold of this thing too soon. What we got? We got 4, so we gotta send one over here. Yeah, I want to hide this thing is what I want to do. I want to like, because I can't lame the guy. I can't take it out. But you know. Go. What's going on, Joe Butt Slasher? If you watch people play video games, you basically have no life. Yeah, that's why like I don't think it's worth it to get that good at AoE as to where I'm gonna be watching a bunch of Hera, you know. The game doesn't mean that much to me. Yeah, sure. I'm like, you know, like I said, it activates my almonds and shit like that, but also I have better things to do than try and be that good at the game. So I'd rather not be that good at the game. Truthfully, I still think that certain things that even I do now that I've gotten a little bit better, should be banned. Like, I don't think you should be allowed to, I don't think you should be allowed to castle drop. I don't think that's something you should be allowed to do. You know, it's one thing depending on the map, okay, fine, we're that close together, yeah, where else are you going to put a castle? You know? But, like, on a map like this, I don't think you should be allowed to castle drop. You know? Just as an example. You know? I don't think it's a case of get good. I think it's a case of I don't want to be playing against people who are no-lifing the game. Meanwhile, I have a life outside of the game. And because of that, I have to, like, put up with a frustrating situation where somebody's going to talk shit to me after. You know, if that makes sense. It's not as simple as, oh, it's just a game, bro. Because, I mean, yes, this is a game, but it's something that I'm doing to unwind. And I don't think it should be a situation where if it's not unwinding to me, I should just abandon it. I think that it should probably be made a little bit better. Maybe that's a little bit authoritarian. You know, I think that's probably how authoritarians use their mindset and their belief system. You know, if you were to steel man their belief system, they would probably say something similar. You know, so in essence, I'm a video game fascist, is what I am. I'm an AOE fascist. No, but like that's the thing is like, well, it is just a game, so who gives a fuck if I am being like authoritarian about it, if you will. You know, who gives a shit? It's not like I'm saying that about anybody in particular, you know? It became your routine. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You know, like I think there's losing and being a sore loser, and then I think there's somebody being a sore winner and being unsportsmanlike and using unsportsmanlike practices to win the game. And this kind of thing doesn't just happen in video games, it happens in real life, you know? Um, and I don't think the founders intended that kind of behavior when they were talking about like freedom of anything. I don't think they intended for that kind of behavior. I think the idea behind the Constitution is that everybody is supposed to be acting in good faith, you know? Yeah, fuck it, I'll start pushing these bad Larrys now. But yeah, I think everybody is meant to be acting in good faith, and if you're not acting in good faith, it doesn't mean you get like arrested or anything like that, but also you know, there needs to be protections in place or punishments in place for the improper use, if it makes sense what I'm trying to say, you know? Oh, excuse me. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, and then I also need to... 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm like locked in as I tend to get with this game. All right, let's go 1, and then 2, bang bang, and there, and there, and then there, and then yeah, we're good on that front. And then you two get your asses over here. Actually, you know what? I think I want you over there too. But yeah, like I was actually if you follow me on Instagram, which most of you probably don't, but if you follow me on Instagram, I made a story. I put a story out there a couple of days ago. And it was a knockout that occurred at a fighting event that I've actually taken part in. It was the kickboxing promotion that I fought for back in 2019. The one that everybody whenever they go looking for fights of mine, it's always you know, it's always that one that they find. There was a very quick knockout, and the way it worked was a girl was fighting another girl. She came out, she glove touched, and then immediately after the glove touch, she threw a kick to the leg followed by a kick to the head, and it knocked the other girl clean out. This is a very cheap move. Now, it is legal, okay, fine, but it's very cheap. And I think that there should be some kind of backlash or some kind of penalty for winning that way. What that penalty is, I'm not 100% sure. That's something I'd have to put thought into. I do think that we should shame people like that. I think somebody like that should be named and shamed. For instance, in the same way that if you repeatedly pull out of fights, especially in disrespectful ways, like you don't show up for weigh-ins, or the day of the fight you're like, oh, I stubbed my toe actually, or like some other thing like that, what will happen is a lot of the guys in your region will take to social media and they'll slam you for that, right? I think the same kind of thing should happen. I don't think there should be, yeah, it's cheap, but it's legal. Protect yourself at all times. I don't think that's acceptable. I think you need to disincentivize that kind of behavior because it cheapens the sport. When we watch fight sports, we want to see fights. We don't want to see 2, 3, 4 second, 10 second, 15, 20 second knockouts. If if every card was that, just a cheap shot, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, trying to explain this while locked in here. If every card was a quick knockout due to a cheap shot, nobody would be interested in watching the fucking fights. Fight sports would be dead in the water. They already struggle enough as is. They would be, no one would do them because it's like, what's even the fucking point, dude? I have a and then what would happen is a meta would develop based around that in the first place. People would go out there. People wouldn't go out there with game plans that last 3, 4, 5 rounds. They'd go out there with game plans that last 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then everything after that would just be weird and like annoying and shit like that. It wouldn't be good fights. It wouldn't be fun fights. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to walk my guys out here, and hopefully everything's going to be okay on that front. Although, what I need to do is get my guys here. All right, perfect. Perfect. There we go as well. I'm gonna again, like, I'm gonna do something that I don't even think is fair, but I have to do it because everybody else is doing it, and it's not an illegal thing to do, you know? Because that's what happens, is it becomes part of the meta that you have to abide by, and that's what I was saying. Awkward, very awkward. Come on, tell me I'm. Oh yes, I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna kill that guy. Then you know what? I'll explain. Anyway, you see what this guy was trying to do, right? He was trying to play till late game. He was trying to boom to the best of his ability, which is what you're meant to do in this game. But what I was talking about, right, is if every single fight on a combat sports card, whether it's boxing, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's MMA, whether it's taekwondo, if every one of those started off with some kind of cheap shot, then a meta would evolve as to where people are game planning around the cheap shot. And if the cheap shot doesn't work, then what do you have after that, right? And that would be really, really fucking weird. And what would happen before that is people would just stop touching gloves. That's what would happen. But if we were to take it to its logical conclusion, if that was not an option, that's the kind of thing that would happen, and it would be really fucking stupid. One of the problems Mike Tyson had with selling his fights was that he was knocking people out so quick. Everyone was like, dude, I'm not even interested in watching this. And because of that, his pay-per-view sales, after a while of him knocking people around inside of 2 or 3 rounds, inside of 1 round a lot of the time, they dropped off. They weren't doing that well. And the reason why this is a problem is because we all know that it violates the sanctity of the sporting event that we are all trying to see. It is unsportsmanlike, not insofar as like trash talk or pushing and shoving and all that other stuff, which is completely and totally expected and accepted. It's accepted and expected in the combat sports world. It's it goes beyond like what you would expect from unsportsmanlike conduct in like a football game. Unsportsmanlike conduct is also utilizing quirks in the system instead of actual raw skill, instead of using wit and determination in a way that is not just like being a lawyer and hugging the line, you know, being a redditor who's like, well, actually, like literally this is the kind of thing that happened. I made a post in one of my local Facebook pages. I'm in a bunch of different Facebook pages for different towns in my area, and I made a post in one of them when I was looking for a new place, asking if this one spot was a good place to live. And people, scumbags from that town, started roasting me, trying to be like, why don't you mind your own business? Dude, what? You think just because they live there and they're poor that they're shitty? Meanwhile, I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to live around drug dealers or not. That's all I wanted to do. That's it. That's all, you know? Um, and um, I ended up saying something like, wow, I don't know why everybody's being so virulent about this. And somebody responded like, uh, virulent is how you describe a virus and how that sickness is affecting people. So what about what you were saying made you think that virulent was the word to use? Like that type of shit. It's like the combat sports version of being that guy, the well actually guy, the well it's not a clip, it's a magazine guy, you know? Um Again, like this is something that's hard to explain for a couple of different reasons, but this example that I'm talking about, when I do make this video, I'm going to be able to explain it a little bit better because, I'm going to be thinking about it more instead of playing AoE and trying to explain it at the same time. But um when you said bad Larry's, it gave me flashbacks of working for a crack addict who spoke a million miles an hour and would spit on the client's floor after every job. Hell yeah, dude. That's a very crackhead thing to say. That's for sure. That's one of my crackhead things. I don't just follow you on Instagram. I followed you all day today around Boston. I know, High Ecuador. I know. That's why I ducked into an alleyway and took my pants off. Um, but yeah, like there's certain things that even if they're legal, they should not be legal. And sometimes you don't have much of a choice. It just is what it is. And the only thing you can do is either penalize people for doing certain things like touching gloves, which how are you even going to do that? Or you have to disincentivize the touching of gloves. Until then, the only thing you can really do is shame the person who does that sort of thing, you know? Because even if it is legal, it doesn't mean that makes it okay. And it doesn't mean that we should put up with it. We shouldn't be all right with that kind of behavior, you know? Um, and that's how I feel about a lot of things. That's how I feel about AoE. That's how I feel about a lot of things in the world today. I can't tell you how many times I've been in an argument with a cop where they know that what they're doing is like shitty and that it's not okay, but they're like, well, the law says, as if the law makes a fucking difference in what's right and wrong, you know? People are just shitty like that, you know? It sucks. It's annoying, but it is what it is. When I lived in Dorchester, someone came out of my neighbor's house banging on my door, screaming, "Help me!" before like five dudes and a girl came out and beat him down the stairs. The cops came, and I'm waiting for the other half of this. High Ecuador, waiting for the other half. I'm thinking we'll play one more game for the simple fact that that one was a little bit quick. That was on the quick side. Uh, Before like five dudes and a girl came out and beat him down the stairs, the cops came and acted like it was no big deal. Still no clue if they were drug dealers or a really intense sober house. Oh man. While it is Dorchester, I would assume it's drug dealers. I would assume it's drug dealers, you know. Kind of wish I drank tonight a little bit. Dude, I thought this guy was Sam. I thought this was Sam for a second at BKFC. Yeah, sorry if I'm a little low in it. Oh, all right. Courtney Vegas. I'm playing against a girl. I'm playing against a girl. Dude, what the fuck? I'm playing against a girl. Dude, we're gonna kick her ass, dude. Dude, we're gonna kick her ass, dude. Girls? Dude, girls can't play video games. What is this shit, huh? Bang. Bang. She is playing Teutons, so that's either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how she plays. Casting couch, me, Zach, and High Ecuador. Yeah, we'll do a 3 for guys. Men, girls don't exist. That's true. It's just guys without dicks. That's what it is. Dude, like one of the things that I liked about the Fish Tank site streaming is that I could just show you guys music. I know that like I know that the Brazilian music is not everyone's favorite thing, but I do enjoy it. I do like vibing with you guys, the people that do enjoy listening to it and stuff like that. It is a lot of fun, you know. Okay, but what if they're drug dealers? Why they call the cops at all, and why the cops not do anything and act like they knew my neighbors and respected them? I don't know. I don't know in that case. Maybe it was a sober house or something like that. Did the people who dealt with the cops, were they the same ones that were beating the hell out of that guy? Did it happen a lot? Asks Joe. I am curious too. Ah. I haven't said anything in a minute, but it's because I'm locked in. Because I gotta show this gamer girl that this is a man's world. I gotta show her it's a man's world we're in. No girls allowed. I'm also just tired, you know? Bawston took a lot out of me for some reason. I couldn't even tell you why. I didn't even do that much walking. I did like just enough walking that when I got home, I laid in bed for a minute. I was just like, oh man. But like, I walked around for like an hour in Back Bay, and then I got on the Orange Line, and then we walked to my favorite place in the I almost said the North Shore, the North End. You know, that's all we did. It's not even anything crazy. Yes. I was about to attack them, but bang, 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 bang. Bawston takes a lot to be around. It does. Takes a lot out of you. Takes a lot out of you. You know, there ain't shit to do in Bawston, but I still like the city. Like, it's just a nice city to walk around in, you know? When Greg came last year, it's been almost a year since that, geez. When Greg came last year, he said that it was a place that he would retire to when he was older, which is like, yeah, I could understand that, you know. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, uh-oh. Am I gonna make it? I'm gonna make it. Hell yeah. Then this. Um, Even being on the coast, I can feel the walls closing in. I don't quite know what you mean by that, Joe. Go. There we go. Not that you can tell this early in the game, but this chick has been behind me score-wise for the last, like, basically since the game started. The library is the last good spot. Glad you went in. Used to go there with my girlfriend in high school and find a secluded spot to get handy. Yeah, I didn't actually go in, because, you know, readings for yellow bellies. What I did instead was I went and I saw the lions. Although it would have been nice to go in just to, like, see the inside like that. But really, the only interest I had in the Boston Public Library was the lions. You know, specifically the one for the 20th Mass, which I've mentioned it ad nauseum. But that's my my ancestors' regiment. What is going on here? See a book. Yeah. I can read up on the latest Marxist fucking lesbian dance theory. Bang. Got one. Alright, you gonna bring your ass over here and then there. Bang, bang. You are gonna go there and then there. And then you can go there and then there. That. Yeah, they're still in feudal age. There's a chance that by the time they click up to feudal age, I'll be going to castle age. There's a chance. You know one place that I really do, if I could live anywhere in the greater Boston area, I would, even with all the fucking idiot commies there, is Somerville. I think Somerville is really nice. I really enjoy that area, you know. Going to Davis Square. My buddy used to live in Somerville, and I'd go visit him, and he had this bike trail in the back of his place, and we could walk from his place to Davis Square, and like it was just a nice area. It was fun, you know. It was fun to be. All of Somerville, you know, I kind of have an appreciation for, you know. Oh, dude, I am clicking up to castle, and this person that I'm playing against is still in feudal age, is still in dark age, has not gotten to feudal age. I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion here. I'm just saying it's you know, it ain't looking bad for me. It ain't looking bad for me, you know. Hot pho, egg rolls, cold beer, and Scott Stream, big chillin', says Rusty Corvine. Indeed, indeed. I love pho, but my wife does not, so I don't get to eat it that much unless we're having a day where we're just like, whatever, I want this, I'm gonna eat this. She's like, all right, fine, I'll do something else, you know. Again, halfway to Castle Age, this person's still in Dark Age. That is fucking bonkers. Look at this, still in Dark Age. Should probably put it like up here or something like that. That way you guys can actually see the map. Oh, interesting. What's this? I'm gonna go ahead and oh. That is interesting though that our scores are so similar. Scott going to lose to a girl? Me? Never. Never. How could you even accuse me of that? Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys, get your asses over there. Bawston used to be cool before it got gentrified like Watertown and Waltham, close enough to the city, but far enough to not feel like it. Yeah, yeah. I know a couple of guys from I know a couple of guys from Waltham. They it's funny, they actually know each other. They grew up with each other and they ended up at my gym both at different times. One of them actually was the main guy who helped me get ready for my last fight. You know, he's a good dude. And then the other guy is actually getting ready for a fight right now, but he's not getting ready through my gym because it's a boxing match and we don't have like a boxing program or anything like that. We don't specialize in that. So even though I could help him get ready, it's like, you know, he's going to go to a guy who does that full time. Excuse me. Like half the time I have to teach jujitsu. So it's like, well, you know, what am I about to do? Yes, okay. What the hell is this idiot doing? Oh. Alright, come on, baby. Yes, we got it. We got that bare minimum. I will go ahead. I'll set up shop here. You know that? I'm gonna set up shop here because I have that much space. The quicker I get that castle up, the better. I have to play aggressive because when someone makes Teutonic Knights, it's not usually a good idea, but the way that I play, it's actually not the worst idea to use Teutonic Knights against me when I'm rushing with my everything that I rush with, you know? Because the Woad Raiders, like, they're really good, but against a Teutonic Knight, like, even one Teutonic Knight, it's just not going to work out for them. You know, I'd need like 10 Raiders for every Teutonic Knight that they have, and that's just not feasible. I will also go here after. In fact, you know what? And then there, and then there. Yeah, like, I don't know. There's just something about Somerville, man. I like Somerville. I like the air of the place. I don't literally mean like air, like air. I just enjoy like the feel when I'm there. You know, there's just something about it. Even though it's like commie central and shit like that, it's nice. I like it. You know. Actually, you know what? I'd rather have them here. And I will. Oh no, I don't even have the. I don't even have the whatever it's called for it. Maybe I can get it. No. Somerville. With women, a man must always deal with them aggressively. Exactly. Exactly. All the time, every time. Yeah, these scores are not good for her. It's not. It's definitely not very good for her. Yes, I can plant this bad boy down. Why would I send them back there after? That would be foolish of me. Oh. See, going infantry against my Woad Raiders is not typically a good thing unless you have, like, unless my Woady boys are underdeveloped, you know? Yeah, go there, and then there. Alright, there we go. Men. No, but Let's see how she was doing though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the deal was. You know, I don't know what this was supposed to be. It's like she was going for early aggression on a map that doesn't have built-in walls, you know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. You know, is what it is. GG's on that one. Um, I don't know why you said the outside of the Boston Public Library looks like commie shit. I think the whole outside and entrance is beautiful, old architecture. The problem is once you go the library part, they refurbished it. Did I say it was? Did I say it looked like commie shit? I don't recall saying it looked like commie shit. If I did, then I didn't mean that. That was definitely hyperbole. I misspoke. I don't think it is commie shit, but what I was trying to say is if you look at a lot of other parts of Boston, you see brutalist architecture, you see like thoughtless, you see just unimaginative, boring, by the numbers, trying to make it as cheap as possible architecture. And it is just horrid, you know? If I could go if I could have gone from maybe one day when I do a stream in Boston on my own and I just stay there for like a few hours or something like that. If I do something like that in the future, I'll go from the south end from Back Bay, which you know that's kind of like the south end, kind of you know. Like I said, I'm not that familiar with the South End Back Bay. I'm a Commons North End guy. That's my thing. But so pardon me if I kind of fuck up like the actual geography of the South End, the geometry of the South End and Back Bay, but like um, if I could take you from um Back Bay to City Hall, you would want to vomit. You would in fact I'll show you City Hall. I'll show you City Hall, right? Um can't decide which is worse, brutalism or those blocky looking high rises that popped up all over the state. Even Quincy has that shit for fuck's sake. Yeah, it's all I think it's all cut from the same cloth, you know. I think it's all cut from the same cloth. Let's go ahead and look that up. Bostoid City Hall. Look at this. This looks like fucking like evil empire shit. This is supposed to be like this is disgusting. This is gross. This is fucking terrible, you know? This is what they qualify for architecture nowadays in Boston. This is the type of shit that they put in. I'm just curious, right? Let's see here. Um Together with the surrounding Plaza, City Hall is part of the Government Center complex. This project was part of a major urban redesign effort in the 1960s. Oh, gee. Oh, gee. What a fucking surprise. Oh, man. Who would have thought some fucking hippie bitch in the 60s would have made something like this? These dudes sitting here dropping acid, tripping dicks, and this is the best they can come up with. I thought acid was supposed to make you more free and crazy, and everything's supposed to be all whoa, dude, the colors, dude, the shapes, man. This is the best these pipe smoking hippies could fucking come up with. Are you kidding me? Get out of my face with that shit. Suck my dick. Suck my fucking penis. Get out of here, bro. That is so stupid. Fucking the building has been subject to widespread public condemnation and is sometimes called one of the world's ugliest buildings. World's ugliest buildings. Yes. Calls for the structure to be demolished have been regularly made even before construction was finished. Architects and critics considered it to be excellent work, with one poll from 1976 finding that professional architects describe Boston City Hall as one of the 10 proudest achievements of American architecture, because architects in the 60s and 70s and architects in general are hippie bitches. They're hippie fucking assholes. and they're smelling their own farts constantly. And it's just a constant game of, oh, I understand this. I understand how great it is. You just don't understand it because you're not qualified, is what it is. You don't even know what you you don't even know what you're looking at, do you? You simply cannot grasp the beauty and the amaze balls. The amaze balls. The wow. I love oh my science amaze balls. Heckin' wholesome chungusness. You can't grasp it. You just don't get it. And because of that, you think it's ugly. But me, an educated individual, an erudite individual, I get it. Because I'm better than you. That's what it is. That's what it is. Of course they're gonna fucking be like that. Idiots, dude. Fucking who made this? Kalman McKinnell and Knowles. Campbell Aldrich and Nolte? I thought it said Nutty. Structural engineer Lemonsieur. Consultants. Then there's a blue line, green line, orange line. Yes, indeed. I was taking the orange line earlier. Had to take it to Forest Hills and Oak Grove. Not literally, but I had to take both of those. I was probably on this platform earlier. This platform right here. But yeah, it's an eyesore that is put there by people almost as an inside joke that nobody's allowed to laugh at. That's what something like this is. This is an inside joke that the insiders are not even allowed to laugh at. Because if they laugh at it, then they're admitting that they're fucking charlatans, that they're sophists, that they're idiots, that they would be better taking a long walk off a short pier. Fucking, and this is what they put in the middle of Boston as like our main building for governance and things like that. Aside from the State House, the State House is, I don't know when the State House was created, but the State House is still nice at least. For the most part, you can see you can see Beacon Hill and shit like that. But let's go to the let's see about the old City Hall. Let's see old City Hall if it's there. Let me go to old Boston City Hall. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at this. That's beautiful. That's like I believe that's like a Victorian style. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure it'll tell us. Old City Hall is a building at 45 School Street in Boston, Massachusetts, USA, which housed the Boston City Council, from 1865 to 1969, over 104 years, designed by Gridley James Fox Bryant and Arthur Gilman. It was one of the first buildings in the French Second Empire style to be built in the United States. After the building's completion, the Second Empire style was used extensively elsewhere in Boston for many public buildings in the United States, including the Eisenhower Executive Office Building in Washington, D.C., Providence City Hall in Providence, Baltimore City Hall in Baltimore, Philadelphia City Hall in Philadelphia. You see, this is it's beautiful. It's breathtaking. Like everything about this building, the shapes, the columns, like Sam talks about like beauty in like an objective form. And I couldn't tell you what that is, but I know this is beautiful. I know the color on the stone, that white, maybe it's a little bit off white, but like that color on the stone is fantastic. That's beautiful. It's great, The tall windows that were there for necessity, at the time it was built, right? But like even with the lack of need for natural lighting, it is still it's nice. It's just nice to look at. And they decided they were going to give us the fucking monstrosity that is the current Boston City Hall. Now imagine that the old City Hall was demolished to make room for the new one. No, this was not demolished. As you can see, old City Hall in 2024, they kept old City Hall. I forget what it's used for now. In fact, why don't we go ahead? Excuse me, man. Um, Look, even this right here, right? Like, points of architectural interest. The granite exterior characterized by ornamented columns, the mansard roof, and the projecting central bay. The massive front doors, unusual in the use of different wood, as well as the inlay of the marble circle in each door. Excuse me. The murals in the building entrances on School Street and Court Square, illustrating the history of both the building and the site. This was made with love. This was made with love by people who love the city of Boston, who loved America, and who loved architecture for architecture's sake. They didn't love architecture because it was their way of feeling like they knew something that you didn't know. And that's the difference between this and the new Boston City Hall. The NU Boston City Hall. But I'm curious about this, right? Old City Hall today. In 2017, Synergy Investments purchased Old City Hall for $30.1 million from AHF Boston. With more than 83,000 square feet of real estate, it now houses a number of businesses, organizations, and a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Welch and Forbes, _VC, McLean Middleton, Cambu, and many more, though its most famous tenant, the upscale French restaurant Maison Robert, closed in 2004. I didn't even know you could get in here. I didn't know that was a thing. I just assumed you couldn't. I didn't know there was shit inside. I'm gonna have to go back there. That's crazy. I had no clue. Love those little windows on the roof. Exactly. Let's take one more look, man. You know, like, love. This was made with love. It was an expression. You know, that's what this was. It was an expression. Fucking the other one's an expression too, but it's not an expression in the way that this is. You know, makes you mad, dude. It makes you mad. And you know what though? If there's one thing I will say, it's that if anybody deserves a building like the new Boston City Hall, it's Michelle Wu and the rest of the bloated pieces of shit that govern the city and the greater Boston area and the county or whatever, you know. So now that I think of it, actually, you know what? It kind of lessens the blow a little bit that the people in there, the people that have to deal with that every single day, are the ones who deserve to have to be in an environment like that. It's disgusting, you know. Yo, look up Ruth's Steakhouse. You should take your wife there if you can afford it, for sure. Of course I can afford it, Hi Ecuador. Of course. Of course, dude. I'm an ultra rich YouTuber. I do this for the money. I do this for the cash is what I do it for. Um LOL, do you remember when Michelle Wu had a non-white people gala? Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And I'm not surprised by it. You know, Massachusetts is going to be the new Rust Belt. And it's going to be because there's going to be a brain drain. Anybody with brains is going to be like anyone with entrepreneurial traits and ambition, and who's willing to take a chance. They're not going to be able to do it here because it's just not a friendly state to things like that. So because of that, they're going to have to skedaddle and go other places. And because of that, Boston, you know, Massachusetts, not just Boston, is going to face a long, probably a decade's worth of degrowth and atrophy. The state is going to atrophy, is what's going to happen. And it's already happening, actually. We went from like the top 5 or something like that in job growth and other things like that last decade to like being in the top, like, well, not the top, but like the bottom like 10 or 20 in terms of growth. You know, we're shrinking. Our economy's shrinking. Everything's just getting worse here. And that's why I'm looking to get the fuck out of here. You know, I don't want to be here anymore, bro. It sucks. It really does suck, you know. I don't make bad money by any means, you know. Excuse me. I make like decent money, but it's not decent enough money to be able to survive here and like have a real future for myself. So I'm just gonna set up somewhere else because other places that I've been, it's so much easier to do so, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. All right, I was supposed to have headed out about 40 minutes ago, but you know what? I'm happy I stayed anyway. All right, you guys are fun to talk to, as usual. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the hell out of you. Let's get an early life on the architect. I can only imagine what the early lives on those architects are. You know, one of them had an Irish sounding name, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's some interesting stuff there. Regardless, but thank you guys for popping in for my second stream of the day. I had a really fun time on both streams. Um, and yeah, you know, I'm going to be streaming again on Sunday. I don't know if it's going to be earlier in the day or later in the day. Depends on when I get up. I'll be honest with you. Oh no, it's probably going to be later in the day because I have something going on earlier in the day that I just remembered. So gonna have to keep that in mind. But again, thank you guys so much for being here, especially the people that were here earlier. I am going to head on out. Till next time, peace.